Hello, everyone. I am Darryl E. McCullough, the Saying Poet from the Full Circle Podcast Show. And I would like to briefly address the question pertaining to how long should your podcast show be? Looking back, if there was one thing that I could change about the Full Circle Podcast Show, I would honestly have to say the total length of the show. We're at an hour and a half right now, sometimes even more. Despite the fact that I think that we have a fun and exciting show, we think we have a great time, we got a great crew, many as experts believe that asking 60 minutes or more from a listener is too much. I've even heard 30 minutes is too long. I used to say, well, when I'm looking at the numbers, I'm like, we get decent downloads, so who cares? However, what do you want? You want downloads, or do you want people to listen to your entire show? Shouldn't you want both? I think you should be mindful of the listener's time. I'll look at it like this. Most podcast audience listen to your show during their drive to work. So the average commute is, let's just say, 30 minutes one way. If you think do you really think that a listener is going to give your show, say if your show's 2 hours long, do you really think that they're going to give your show 2 days to listen to one show? Not to mention the fact that there are other podcast shows out there. Your show's not the only podcast in town. So honestly, I have favorite podcast shows that are 2 hours long, and they fall to the wayside after about 60 minutes or so. I just don't have the time. So due to this, my crew and I at the Full Circle Podcast Show, we have come to the conclusion that for our 60th episode, we will reduce our show to 1 hour. And also shows that are on our network and coming onto the Full Circle Podcast Show network, 60 minutes or less. So my advice to up and coming podcasters, I'm going to say that there are no rules to podcasting, as my friends at the Podcast Detroit love to say, and I understand that and I respect that. However, I do believe that there are recommendations, and my recommendation would be try 60 minutes or less. See if your audience grows as well as your total listen time. I hope that this helps, and thanks for listening. Take care.